Welcome everyone to the Wrecking Show. We have a really big show planned today and it's just going to be great. We're just going to have great conversation. But before we get into the show, a couple of things. Thank you again. Every time I log into the platform and I see 10 new subscribers or 2 new subscribers or whatever it is, all of those things, it makes the work feel useful. It makes the work feel meaningful because many of you are finding joy, finding value in the content, and you do that with your support. So thank you for your support, helping us to grow to right now 2,600. That's 2,610 subscribers, continuing to grow the watch hours and continuing to grow the content. Please feel free, again, on your way into this, like, share, and subscribe, and just hit that like button. It really does a lot to help the YouTube algorithm to really put this content out there so others like you may be able to find your way to it. And with that, let's jump right into the show. Today we're going to talk about Jamaica Independence, which we just celebrated over this weekend, and we're going to jump into the Barbie movie, which has been setting the place on fire in different places, and so we're going to jump into that a little bit today. So let's get right into it.
Welcome to The Wrecking Trade, this and every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m., the radio show that provides a platform for a deeper understanding of issues affecting men in the Cayman Islands. Join us as we explore the low enrollment of men and boys in college classrooms, the absence of men in the church, and the absence of fathers in the home. Join the conversation as we help men find their place in the modern world. Through engaging interviews with experts and members of the community, we provide a clear picture of what healthy masculinity looks like as an example for boys and girls. Our mission is to provide a voice for men, to help them navigate the challenges that they face and provide hope for a brighter future. So tune in this and every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. and join the conversation on The Wrecking Trade. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of men and boys in the Cayman Islands. Brought to you by Oscore Fitness, strong inside, powerful outside, and the Bellagio Salon and Spa, where beauty is reimagined.
For more insightful content on important topics like this one, explore the YouTube channel, The Wrecking Trade. Please like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on our latest discussions. Also, click the link on the screen to support the channel. For more insightful content on important topics like this one, explore the YouTube channel.
So here we are, we're going to jump right into it. Over this weekend, right here in the Cayman Islands, we just had a really wonderful time celebrating the Jamaica Independence, and I mean there was parties all over the place from Friday to Saturday to Sunday, and on Sunday the Lion Center was just sold out. I mean, it was free, but it was sold out. There was barely any standing room as people got together to celebrate with Rhoda Isabella as she just sang praises, and we just celebrated Jamaica in a big way. And speaking of Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness, there's just been this ongoing back and forth with the US over a couple of things, or one thing specifically. In July 18, Caribbean Life reported that there was just some kind of a row. This story has to do with Jamaica culture and its approach to LGBTQ plus issues will surprise very few people, as the Jamaican government and the United States are locked in a simmering row over a request from Washington for accreditation and immunities for a gay spouse of an incoming American diplomat. And I guess that didn't go well, because a week later, it was reported on Democratic Underground that Jamaican diplomats to be evicted from Florida over official Jamaican homophobia is how they've termed it. But this is where, yes, as we're celebrating the independence, one of those things that you're able to celebrate is your ability to say no. I mean, persons have choice, and it's an interesting conversation, because we started this platform to create an opportunity to have conversations. Many times we're having conversations about difficult subjects, and it doesn't mean you have to agree with what we say. And if you disagree, feel free to reach out to me, make a contact, and we can jump on and we can have conversations. Because one of the challenges of our society today is, I think in my opinion, we're not having enough conversation. So we never get a chance to have our views challenged or actually hear the experience of other persons and be able to come together and have a united or have a collective vision. Why? Because we're all individually sitting in our own spaces and regurgitating our own ideas. So we can never truly understand the experience of the other unless we experience them sharing. And that means listening to things that you may not necessarily agree with. Sitting down at the table and go, okay, I know I believe X, but what is it? Why is it that you believe Y? Because the moment we start thinking of the other as just a villain, then we cut them off. And other persons are out there, they're having experiences, they're having different feelings, and they're sharing those views. And if we shut it down, then we can't really understand it. What does that mean, shutting it down? Shutting it down means just like this. You can't say something that is not off the proper narrative. Why? Because you're going to get canceled, or this is going to happen. And then how can we grow? How can we raise children? How can we educate a population if we cover over so many of the things that helps them to make decisions for themselves? All right. So with that, the Barbie movie came out it came out a couple of weeks ago, and there's been a huge divide over whether you think Barbie is the second coming of Christ and she's going to liberate the world, or you think that Barbie is just going to burn the world and set the world on fire. And this conversation, as I experienced, I tried to watch the movie, I tried to go through it. It was a little bit of a lift in order to go through the whole thing, but to make sure I could understand what the conversation was about and make sure I could formulate my own opinions, I had to work through it. And so here I found an interesting take, and I'm wondering, and this is a question to you as you're listening, maybe Greta Gerber is maybe this lady, this director, this writer lady, maybe she is a genius and we didn't even know it. Because the Barbie movie, the take that I got, interestingly enough, and I actually found another commentator, which we're going to review today, that saw a similar position, in that some persons see it as an assault on masculinity, an assault on everything man, because in the movie, every single man from the real world to the Barbie world was an idiot. Either was an idiot or was a villain. And then Barbie has such great diversity in that all the Barbies had different jobs. Barbie was a president, the Supreme Court. Barbie could be anything, but Ken was just a guy. And one of the characters in the movie actually asked the question, where does Ken live? And Barbie goes, I don't know. There are hundreds of Kens in the Barbie world, but no one knows where they lived. But every single Barbie had their own house. And so, but as the movie progressed, it kind of unlocked some things. And I think these guys really had a really great take on it. So let's just take a moment to explore that. And I'll pause from here time to time to kind of talk through what's happening. And maybe we'll have a conversation around it. All right, let's get into it.
So white women's Black Panther came out. Yes, I did steal that joke from a tweet. The Barbie movie released, much to my joy, because the theatre was packed with lots of pretty blonde women wearing pink. And also us, the Lotus Eaters, went and saw it. Now, not most of the hosts, it was most of the back team. You can see the photo on Twitter where I'm grimacing because I'm surrounded by baby pink and inflatable sharks. But everyone else had a great time, and I had a great time watching it because the film was an utter disaster. But they didn't realise what they made. They have no idea that they have made the best propaganda piece for reclaiming masculine vitalism against the matriarchy ever created.
So I saw it with a slightly different lens, because yes. I went to it thinking, I'm going to watch this to see, is it something that I could show my daughters? Because I've got 2 daughters in the target age range. In this thing.
No.
So I was looking at the first level dynamics. But actually, when I saw that you were going to do a segment on it and you've come with this base narrative,
yes,
there is a sort of subtext going on that actually on a second viewing, I think I could quite get into.
Oh, it's accidentally.
Because Ken is
really
kind of our guy, isn't he?
Ken is, as the Ryan Gosling meme goes, literally me.
As you may know, YouTube arbitrarily demonetized our channel, so I'd like to thank Lutsis.com's first sponsor, Atlas VPN, for supporting us and providing a service that is actually useful as we move into our new cyberpunk dystopia. Atlas VPN Premium is just $1.83 per month, with 3 months extra and a 30-day money-back guarantee if you aren't happy with the service. Follow the link in the description to sign up. You'll be liberated from region locks, so you can watch streaming content from anywhere in the world, but I think more importantly is that it masks your IP. Firstly, this prevents us from being spied upon by the various state dragnets. We find it important that it keeps your Google searches private, which prevents them from tailoring the results based on your past searches, which prevents them from hiding information because they've built up a profile against us. It also protects you from being the target of malicious ads, trackers, and malware, and informs you when someone is trying to steal your data. There has been a spate of people getting their accounts hacked recently, and Atlas VPN helps protect against that. Atlas VPN is also easy to install. Even I could do it without assistance. What you're seeing now is the footage I recorded of myself installing the thing. Once you're logged in, you can see that you just need to click on the location that you want to tell the internet where you want to be from, and you're all set. To repeat then, Atlas VPN Premium is just $1.83 per month with a 3-month extra and a 30-day money-back guarantee if you aren't happy with the service. Follow the link in the video description to sign up, and remember, supporting them is supporting us, so please do check them out.
So my editor at The Critic has coined the term, because John Doyle put out a tweet saying that he was going to do a Ken video, because he already did Neo-Gastonism after Beauty and the Beast. We're saying that Beauty and the Beast, Gaston is actually the hero, of course. Because if you're in 17th century France, who do you want? It's the noble hunter who makes friends with all the men in the village, who palms off the advances of harlots and actually just wants to settle down and give you a lot of sons, and kill the giant werewolf threatening the town.
Oh, well, I got that the first time I watched it.
Yeah, most people didn't. So he nicked Neo-Gastonism, because I would have loved to have made that interpretation, but well done, John Doyle. And then John Doyle said something about Ken, and I said Neo-Kenanism. And instead, my editor at The Critic said, no, Neo-Ken-servatism. That is the Kenergy we are going with today. Ken is our guy.
These are some interesting gentlemen, because they take the idea that is out there in the public and they take a new way of looking at it. Not the regular, average, ordinary. They go, okay, what else can we see, explore, and unearth from this direct conversation? And I think it's a commentary for all of us, as it allows us to go, yes, this is what I believe, this is what I know, but what else is going on here? And this is the precursor, or the opening, or the door, just cracking the door to be able to understand someone else's experience, as opposed to just writing it off and saying, this is what I know, this is what is, and there's nothing else out there. We continue.
And I've seen lots of conservatives say that the Barbie movie is woke, it's awful. It tries to be, but don't let them get away with their propaganda. Because if they screw up and accidentally make something we can claim, we will claim it. Don't give an inch. So
it is definitely trying very, very hard to be woke.
Yeah, but it's made by such incompetence, they don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah, but they kind of did it accurately to the point where it actually displays all the weaknesses of woke as well.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you're going to get into.
Yeah,
so
yeah. It's and no transphobia in this segment, Dan, because we want it to go on YouTube. Even though the Barbie movie is very transphobic.
Yeah, actually, it is. It really, really is. Actually,
yeah, we'll jump into that. Don't worry. But first, speaking of relationships which failed and benefited the sane man at the expense of the insane woman, if you subscribe to our website, you'll get articles like this one with a narration track from John Crow. This is an article I wrote while I was away in America. Lovely. And it was on Jonah Hill and why men can't marry mermaids. I saw this wonderful painting in the Harvard Art Gallery and thought, well, that's probably how Jonah Hill's feeling this week, considering his ex leaked a bunch of texts that he sent where he was perfectly reasonable and she was like, I want to post nudes on the internet. So they broke up.
And that's an interesting take. Again, we talked about the Jonah Hill situation a couple of weeks ago. And the challenge was, as this man is setting his boundaries, and perfectly fine, and I mean, you can accept it or you can't, and that's fine, that's okay. And he said, okay, fine, we're gonna break up since you don't want to do that. And months after, I think a year and a half after, he's with another person, and now she's leaking these videos to say, hey, he's a horrible person. And the question is, why? He said, you don't want to do this? That's okay, no problem, we just won't see each other. But you're salty, you're upset. Why are you upset? Men have choices, women have choices. We all have an opportunity to make the choice that works for us. And if the one doesn't work for you, we don't get angry, we don't get upset. You just go, hey. And feel free to put something in the comments. If someone is not okay with the boundaries that you've set, is it okay to walk away? In my view, perfectly is. If your boundaries are not respected, then you can perfectly just walk away. We continue.
And the thing with mermaids is the wrong half is fish.
That's exactly what I say.
Right.
So try and have a relationship with a beautiful woman that posts herself half naked on social media. It's about sterile as trying to shag a mermaid.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into the Barbie movie. There was some stuff before it released. So there was some woke stuff, which is that right before the film came out in the trailer, and this was in a scene in the film, you know, where Weird Barbie pulls down the map to the real world.
Right.
The map on it showed a dividing line in the South China Sea. So it shows the 9-dash line, and that's the Chinese Communist Party saying that they own part of the South China Sea that Vietnam says is just off its coast.
Right.
In 2014, Vietnam nearly got into an armed conflict with China because China plopped an oil rig right off of their coast, and so it's been banned in Vietnam because they're pandering to the Chinese market to try and get the Chinese. People did point out that it's really funny that Oppenheimer is not banned in Japan, but this is banned in... I also saw plenty of memes, I'm not stealing these, where they said that one of Barbie's first products also launched in Japan. So did Oppenheimer's.
And I was just kind of impressed that we've got some blonde white people featuring in a film that's coming out these days.
Yes, yeah. But it was to denigrate the Kens. And there were very diverse cast members. But the fascinating thing about the Barbie and Ken casting, one, it's totally fine to objectify men at all levels and make them just himbos. And all of the men were fit and in shape. Now, they were various degrees of effeminate and masculine, but that was part of the parody. Whereas all of the Barbies, you were allowed to be as grotesquely obese, dysgenic, and mutilated as you liked. So the Barbies were very egalitarian in Life is Plastic, but all the Kens had to be shredded chads.
That's also true.
Physiognomy bears out, it turns out. So, speaking of woke, these are the people behind it. Greta Gerwig was the director. Yeah. Greta Gerwig did Little Women and Lady Bird.
So I didn't know who directed it, but it was very clear watching it that it was directed by a childless Californian obese woman.
No. So she is skinny. She is married to another California director, the guy that did Marriage Story, and she does have 2 kids.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
She's also directing this new Snow White film. Have you seen Snow White's New Dwarfs by any chance?
Is that one where Terry Crews is Snow White?
You're not far off, actually.
Right.
So these are the dwarves.
Well, only one of them's a dwarf?
Yes, do you know why? Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones, you know, he said it's really dwarf-phobic to cast dwarves as the 7 dwarves, even though he's made an entire career and multiple millions of dollars playing a dwarf.
Wait, he's pulling the ladder up behind him?
It's a very short ladder. But yes, he is. These are the dwarves. Again, audio listeners, we've just been confusing the audio listeners for this entire podcast, I'm sure. You wouldn't have understood the intro if you're an audio listener. But we have 3 black people, 2 male and 1 female, 1 dwarf who might only have 1 arm, judging by the photo. Jesus is in the back, and then 2 white men. So there's 3 white men, 4 white men if you count one of the dwarves, that's taken a job away from 6 dwarves. Right, not great. That's not Snow White, that's her stunt double.
Right.
But the real Snow White doesn't look far off. It's Rachel Zegler, and Rachel Zegler's a Hispanic woman. So...
The whole thing with Snow White is like...
White?
Yes, skin as white as snow.
Snow, not quite white. I mean, you probably shouldn't make skin complexions to dirt or anything comparisons, because that would be very racist. You shouldn't do that.
Right.
So we'll skip over that bit.
But it is the character, but okay, fine.
Yeah. So it's been written by Greta Gerwig, and it will not feature Prince Charming, and instead focus on a stronger Snow White who dreams of becoming a leader. And she says that people are making jokes about Oz being the PC Snow White. It is because it needed that. Now that's Rachel Zegler, who gave a interview about Snow White with the woman playing the evil queen. You know the evil queen that's really jealous of Snow White's youth and looks?
Yes.
Would you like to see what Snow White and then the evil queen look like?
Yeah, go on then. What, seriously?
Yes.
So
Gal Gadot is playing the evil queen who's jealous of mid-white.
She's much, much hotter.
Yes.
And I imagine that's part of the challenge as we're looking at these things, is the more we go through in the PC move to just change the meaning of everything, we sanitize everything. And I guess the movie can no longer be called Snow White, because if it's not, that is the thought behind it, then it's not. And I guess it's no longer the 7 dwarves, because there's only 1 dwarf. So, but I guess the script can evolve. I guess the question is whether or not you can still have Snow White and the 7 dwarves in its original form, as well as growth and expansion and learning how to do new things in different ways. When we have change, is the old thing now bad and wrong and mean, just like we're having the conversation about masculinity. As more men grow and open themselves up to access their femininity and to be able to access their emotions, is it okay to be, we're talking about stereotypical Barbie, is it okay to still be stereotypical man who wants to protect and provide for his family, be the priest in his family, and be strong and stoic? Is that okay? And if we're saying that's not okay, why? We're telling men that if you feel comfortable in this space, and we're not talking about taking advantage of people, we're talking about someone just wanting to take care of those around them. We're living in a world of equality. When, what does equality mean? It means if I'm opening the door for a young lady, is that an assault on her personhood because I'm saying that she's weak and she can't open the door for herself? While conversely, if a young lady wants you to open the door for her, is she going, oh, are we going, oh no, she's setting feminism back because she's allowing a man to open the door for her? What are we talking about when we're having these conversations? Growth usually means expanding your options, but more and more the conversation feels like we are shrinking our options into a particular box. We continue.
She's much, much hotter.
Yes. Yeah. So in this, Rachel Ziegler says, it's not 1937. Snow White's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, like her late mother. So it's all about power and domination, not gender complementarity, not wholesome family values. And that's just like Barbie. So Greta Gerwig has a track record here. Not going to be how she plans it out. There was also more pre-release discourse. Speaking of mid, are you aware of this that happened recently? So this is an Anon account I quite enjoy following.
Right.
I must disavow all of his takes, including this one, where he said that Margot Robbie's a hard 7. You used to find a Margot Robbie in every Blockbuster video in 1995.
Well, I used to go to Blockbuster videos in 1995 and...
Not Margot Robbie, no. No. This got 31.8 million views on a single tweet. And it got to the point of where, at the Turning Point Action Conference, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz got up and said, let me just be clear, Margot Robbie is not mid. A 10 is a 10, whether it's Common Core math or not. Sitting congressman is commenting on Twitter Anons, rating Margot Robbie's level of attractiveness. I love where politics has got to.
He was just a troll in the first place.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's doubled down on it. Because have you seen those memes recently? It's mainly featuring Zendaya, or that Zegler woman that's playing Snow White.
Yeah.
Where this is who Hollywood wants us to think is a model versus like random cashier, and she's smoking. Those can continue. But Margot Robbie doesn't really fit that category. I mean, it literally, in the Barbie film, they say, when Margot Robbie's saying, oh, I'm not pretty anymore, Helen Mirren's narration cuts in and says, note to the directors, casting Margot Robbie in this role may not have been the person to make this point that you would hope.
To be fair, Margot Robbie in whatever it is, The Big Short was
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes.
Yes, you're thinking of, we can't show that scene. Yes. I'm sorry. It's out there. Enjoy.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, you creepy old perv. It turns out that Matt Gaetz and his wife are actually big Barbie fans. And so they went to, this is an Aspen Ideas Festival party thing. It wasn't actually the premiere, but they decided to dress up in a Barbie theme because it was Barbie themed, because it coincided. And this is where I'm going to start complaining that the Conservatives take on this. I mean, Lauren Chen, friend of the show.
And I also saw a take last night as I was looking through. Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, he also went to see the Barbie movie, and he dressed up in pink. And the idea is, as persons are going out, many persons are enjoying the movie and celebrating it and saying it's a masterpiece, and other persons are going, oh no, we're burning. What's his name? Ben Shapiro burnt a Barbie doll in effigy, right? And here it is, persons are getting polarized. And the take that I like on this is looking at, and many of us have the opportunity to do this, you find a plate of food, you go, oh no, the plate of food is not awesome because this one thing is off, or this is off. Is it possible for us to go, okay, fine, what is it that I enjoy about this? And what is it that I can use to further my own cause? Or see how we can come together. I think the saying goes, there's more that unites us than separates us. And if we keep focusing on the things that separate us, we keep being at odds with each other. And as long as we keep being at odds with each other, we don't get to get on with the real business of life, which is to grow. And I guess this may be misogynistic in that, to grow, to support each other, to strengthen each other, to build society, and to create a legacy by leaving something better for our children. Now, I'm sure you're going to go, hey, what is better? And this is where the debate gets confusing about who determines what is better. And the conversation continues as long as the conversation continues, because if we don't continue the conversation, then we won't be able to explore, understand, and then find the spots that actually unite us. Let's keep going.
She did a video where it said it's woke feminist messaging, and that's definitely how they try to do it, right? Matt Gaetz' wife says that disappointingly low testosterone from Ken. And then Ben Shapiro did a 43-minute interview where he destroys Barbie by being a grown man that torches Barbie toys. I mean, I understand Ben's having a little bit of fun. He's playing into the character.
Right.
And he's right on some of his criticisms here. But I think all of the conservative influencers that have commented on this film have missed the point. Because, yes, that's what the movie was going for. The movie was trying to denigrate men. This is the take you got, right? That it was just disparaging men endlessly.
Well, that is the surface level take. I mean, there was bits of it that I started to think, actually, that's really quite funny if you looked at it from a different perspective.
It's quite funny because the normie women that I know went to see it hated the film. They were like, I'm not going to rewatch it.
It makes women look just pathetic.
But the story's incoherent unless you're played into the online discourse that they're trying to satirize. But they satirize it so poorly, they actually are pro our side, which is we don't hate men and Chads rise up.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely bits of this. Like, it's like, are you going to get into the whole kind of story?
Yeah. We may as well break down.
I do have some comments on that.
Yeah. We'll spend quite a lot of time on that. Just a bit more preamble. There was a kind of sign that things weren't going as the filmmakers intended in an interview with Greta Gerwig for Rolling Stone. And in this, she explains that one of the scenes that you first see when Barbie and Ken enter the real world, you know, when they're rollerblading along Venice Beach.
Oh, yes.
Barbie is beset by sexism from police officers, from construction workers, from volleyball players. They were filming that scene to say that the world of men, the patriarchy that really exists, is constantly assaulting women with sexism and compliments that have, quote, an undertone of violence from all sides. The funny thing is, when they filmed this, it didn't play out that way. So this is a quote from Greta Gerwig. When we were actually shooting on Venice Beach with Margot and Ryan in neon rollerblading outfits, it was fascinating because it was actually happening in front of us. People would go to Ryan, high-five him and say, "Awesome, Ryan, you look great." And they wouldn't actually say anything to Margot Robbie. They'd just look at her. It was surreal. In that moment, she felt self-conscious. As the director, I wanted to protect her. Right, so it's sexism if Margot Robbie does and doesn't get compliments, but everyone's walking up to Ryan Gosling going, "Yeah, bro, literally me."
And he loves it.
And he loves it. And he was humble enough to interact with everyone as well. But Greta Gerwig saying, "Oh, Margot Robbie's not getting the compliments she deserves? Well, I have to shield her. But as Barbie, if she's getting hit on, oh, this is patriarchy. We must institute the matriarchy instantly."
Yeah.
These people's brains are broken with contradictions. And organically, people are playing out and conveying their
because they only have a
Ryan
single
Gosling
lens to view absolutely everything, whether it fits or not.
Yeah, it's about paradigmatic.
And again, the interesting idea of the single lens to view things, because then it does promote or provide for some amount of dissonance as you're looking at this and you're going, Ken is going down and persons are seeing him and going, "Hey, cool job, well done, all of these things are happening." And it's okay to say, "Hey, he's a man, has worked hard, if he's got some muscles, it's okay to do that." But if you do that with a woman, it's somehow sexist and different. And so more and more men are going, okay, no, it's just unsafe to do that. It's unsafe to have conversations in the workplace. It's unsafe to have these kinds of conversations. It's unsafe to give attention. And the question goes, I was actually having this conversation when I was taking my son to the hospital with some ladies who were in the room, and it's going, okay, all right, great. We understand that men are visual beings, right? And that's one thing that's over on this side, on this side. And then on the other side, women are not visual beings. You know, they're more emotional. But if women dress in this way, it makes them feel good. But then when you put those things together, it creates odds. Because if men are visual beings and they admire or they look at or they visualize, they see, then they're creeps. But then the women who dress in this way, they just feel good. And so is there a space, is there a place for us to be able to coexist where it is not a situation where it is either one or the other, but we can both coexist in peace and actually enjoy life together?
female oppression.
Yes, that's
So
what. That's
if
what
I don't get my daily need of online or in-person validation, I will cry about it. If I get the validation I don't want, it's literally sexual harassment.
Yes.
So this is just a sign that they made this movie with an intention, and it wasn't quite what they thought. The other sign that it wasn't quite what they thought is, the Oppenheimer Barbie discourse. People have been doubling up some screenings. Are you watching Oppenheimer by any chance?
I'm sure I will.
Right, so I'm not a Chris Nolan fan. I don't really like any of his films, so I'm not bothering. So I'm doing the Chad move and only seeing Barbie.
Okay.
So is everyone in MAGA country. I'm not joking. If you look at the Google Trends by state, Barbie is trending in red states, whereas Oppenheimer is trending in blue states.
And that's an interesting take. If it's trending in red states versus blue states, it means that more persons who may identify as conservative may be enjoying the Barbie movie and going out to watch it. Either that or they're hate watching, but whatever the case, it's actually making more money in places where you think that, or persons have placed opposition to the ideas in the movie, which makes for an interesting conversation about capitalism.
This is incredible. And I
really is.
I think it's because this might be the old phrase that liberals read, conservatives watch TV. So conservatives in red states are just going for the normie culture thing. They don't realise it's subversive. But then actually they're going and seeing it and will probably identify harder with Ryan Gosling. Whereas everyone that wants to look pretentious is going to go see Oppenheimer for 3 hours.
Yeah, I have read a book on Oppenheimer.
I mean, he's an interesting fellow.
Yeah.
But it's a Chris Nolan film. It's apparently long and overindulgent. Though I might see it because Florence Pugh gets.
I very much get the impression it's going to be one of those films that I admire more than I like.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree. Barbie, I liked far more than I would ever possibly admire. For all the wrong reasons.
Oh yeah. Well, the Barbie was kind of fun. I will give it that.
I thought it was profoundly unfunny when they tried to be funny, and then it was hilarious for all the wrong reasons. So, so I'm just going to pull up the trailer and let it sit on in the background and play without sound, because I just want to talk about the plot. Because it's such a surreal moment, because the film opens and they give this whole spiel about how Barbie has inspired a generation of women. They literally say in the narration, all the problems of feminism were solved by Barbie. Barbie can be anything, and all of the other Barbies other than stereotypical Barbie, who's the one that has the, well, not midlife crisis. I would say approaching the wall and not being able to have children crisis. So white women's Black Panther came out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Actually, that's really quite funny if you looked at it from a different perspective.
It's quite funny because the normie...
Welcome to the Bellagio Salon and Spa, your one-stop destination for all your hair, nails, skin, and body needs. Located at 112 Cannon Place in Georgetown, Bellagio Salon and Spa is the epitome of luxury and relaxation. Come let us take care of your every need. Our team of skilled professionals is ready to give you a fresh and fabulous hairstyle, a revitalizing facial, or a pampering manicure. Experience the bliss of our signature spa treatments designed to cater to your specific desires. Let our therapists work their magic, leaving you feeling renewed. Don't wait any longer to treat yourself. Call us today at 943-5522 or 923-2255. Book your appointment and embark on a journey to ultimate relaxation. Bellagio Salon and Spa. Unwind, rejuvenate, and embrace your inner beauty. Book your escape now. Introducing Oscore Fitness Personalized Training System, the ultimate solution to achieving your fitness goals. With Oscore Fitness, you have the flexibility to work out in your own home gym, or if you prefer, you can visit one of our partner facilities for a change of scenery. Our team of expert trainers will guide you through personalized workouts tailored to your specific needs and preferences, ensuring maximum results. If you can't make it to the gym, Oscore Fitness offers the convenience of having a fully equipped gym delivered right to your doorstep. Our dedicated trainers will motivate and challenge you every step of the way, keeping you on track towards your fitness goals. Ready to transform your fitness routine? Call us now at 525-8622 and get started with Oscore Fitness Personalized Training System. Oscore Fitness. Break free from limitations and achieve your fitness dreams. Oscore Fitness. Your journey to a healthier, stronger you begins today. Welcome to OWCHR and Immigration Services, your trusted partner in the Cayman Islands. Navigating the immigration process can be overwhelming. We take time to understand your unique needs and provide personalized, budget-friendly solutions to tackle your HR and immigration challenges. We guide you through ensuring compliance at every step. Experience the peace of mind that comes with OWCHR and Immigration Services. Contact us today for a free consultation. OWCHR and Immigration Services, your solution, your success.
For all the wrong reasons. So,
Quick break there.
just going to pull up the trailer and let it sit on in the background and play without sound, because I just want to talk about the plot. Because it's such a surreal moment, because the film opens and they give this whole spiel about how Barbie has inspired a generation of women. They literally say in the narration, all the problems of feminism were solved by Barbie. Barbie can be anything, and all of the other Barbies other than stereotypical Barbie, who's the one that has the, well, not midlife crisis. I would say approaching the wall and not being able to have children crisis. That seems to be what it's getting at.
Yeah, actually, that fits.
Yes, considering she's getting cellulite and she goes to the gynecologist at the end of the film and she's inspired by a mother, and the whole press to have the normal Barbie is, can we just have a Barbie that's just a mum? That will sell, right? And the only person that's ostracized of all the Barbies is the one Barbie that got discontinued, which was pregnant all the time. And they say it's weird. But then it comes off like, well, motherhood is denigrated in the permanent youth and career woman of
90%
Barbie
of this film is really anti-mother.
Yeah.
And then the last bit is that's what she picks.
Exactly. Because there's a whole montage sung over by my wife, Billie Eilish, of home video footage of women being mothers.
Yes.
And then she goes straight to the gynecologist.
Which was an interesting approach or an interesting take, as it's the movie literally started and you see these little girls, or they're playing with the dolls, they're playing, I guess, training or learning to be mothers, and then Barbie emerges and they all smash the dolls and say, hey, we don't want this anymore. And like you said, there's the scene where they show the pregnant Barbie, and they quickly take the camera off her because she's weird. It's weird. So the whole movie is about Barbie, or the different Barbies, doing all these jobs and doing all these things, and the one that's a mother, she's ostracized. So Barbie is career focused. Yet at the end of the movie, when Barbie realized that the thing that makes her most, I guess, fulfilled as she's going through experience is she develops the joy or the idea that she wants to go to see the gynecologist, and she wants to become a mother. Let's explore as we continue.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So she's having an existential crisis about the fact that she can't have children.
So she's living in a feminist utopia, and when she actually gets the choice, she goes and lives in the patriarchy.
Yes.
And becomes a mother.
Yeah. And it's biologically essentialist as well, because what does she need to become a real woman?
She needs to something that involves her going to the gynecologist.
Yes, she
Which
needs
is
the
kind of
essential
transphobic.
The essential plumbing. It's very transphobic. How dare you?
Yeah.
Especially considering they had a trans Barbie, and the trans Barbie was the doctor.
Right. Good point.
Yeah, very, very interesting. But anyway, during this montage, we see that they have a black female president who is oppressing all of the Kens.
Oh yeah, the Kens are incredibly badly treated.
Yeah, they're the lumpen proletariat.
So all the Kens, they're basically homeless, and they just have to look good, and they're just there to sate the desires of the Barbies. They're just there. I mean, they literally just live on the beach or on the streets.
Yeah, to validate the Barbies without ever having any hope of intimacy, because they're ultimately sterile, and they're all aware that they don't have genitals, but they all desperately want them because they feel very embarrassed by it.
And as soon as Ken goes to the real world, somebody just says hi to him and asks him for the time, and he can't believe that somebody's spoken to him and engaged with him as a human being.
And the important thing about that as well is that he's offering a woman the time. So that is, he is serving a functional purpose to a woman.
Yes.
He's not dominating her.
Yes.
He is needed for an earnest reason.
Yes.
And the fascinating thing is as well, and again, if you guys haven't seen this, we're just spoiling the whole film, because I don't actually advise you go out and pay to see it. But it's still hilarious, so when it comes out in streaming, it's probably well worth it.
Yeah.
The spoilers, you will not believe what we're saying, but this is word for word exactly what happens. When they go to the real world, there is a montage where Ken looks at horses, various American presidents, men's faces on the dollar, men high-fiving in sports teams, Sylvester Stallone in mink coats.
Yeah.
And he suddenly realizes that patriarchy is awesome. Now, it's not patriarchy in the way they think it's patriarchy, because when he goes to talk to the soy jack that's
So
selling
that
cars,
bit is going to get meme to hell, I'm sure.
oh, there's going to be so many little Dark Age montages. And
Yeah.
When he goes to talk to the guy says, oh, you need all these credentials. And the guy says, oh, we're still doing patriarchy, we're just doing it more covertly. But they never actually provide any examples of it, because when he goes to try and get a job, the female nurse just turns him away, going, you aren't sufficiently qualified. But when he comes,
I thought this was really interesting, because as the movie purports to say, it's the patriarchy, and so the men are doing these things because they're men. But then, as Ken was trying to get into doing these things, he wasn't sufficiently qualified, which brings us to the idea of college classrooms are dominated by women, which means women are going to be far more qualified for these jobs than men come the turn of the century. Or currently now, more women are in college, so more women are graduating. They're graduating at a faster pace from men, so they're more qualified for many of these jobs than men. So the idea that we're doing the patriarchy needs you to be qualified, but more women are becoming qualified. It speaks to some amount of dissonance to the idea that men are still in control. And here, I like to put forward my own position in that persons, human beings, across centuries, across decades, across the world, have been together oppressed. There are a few people at the top who make a lot of and experience and enjoy life to the fullest, right? They make a lot of money, they're wealthy, they do all of these things. And then both men and women have had difficult lives, have had hard lives to work through. And part of what has allowed us to work through those things, because if we go back to the 50s and before, blue-collar jobs, blue-collar families were able to own houses, do more, and accomplish more because they worked together as a unit. And as a unit, they were able to go, okay, fine, guess what? Dude, you're going to be responsible for this. Lady, you're going to be responsible for this. And by doing these things, we can focus on the things that we need to focus on individually and then work together as a whole so that we can collectively have a wonderful life. But here, in this present utopia, or dystopia, depending on how you look at it, we have men and women slaving away at their jobs, but barely being able to keep up. I was having a conversation with a real estate agent just yesterday, and the average Caymanian here where we live is able to be qualified for, say, $350,000 for a house. But the average house price lives somewhere north of $450,000, $500,000, which means the average Caymanian can't afford the house that they're slaving away to work at, or a piece of land they qualify for $150,000, but the piece of land that you need to buy is $225,000. So what does that mean in the current utopia where we're working harder, we're working together, we're doing more, we're stressed more, we're suffering even greater mental health issues, but we're unable to experience the joys of life, whether it be through consumerism, being able to afford the things that we need to enjoy life, or through relationships and through emotional connections. So divorce is at a higher rate, marital and relationship dissatisfaction is at a higher rate. So the more we're doing these things that the woke culture tells us is going to make us happier and create human rights and a better world, the less we seem to be enjoying the world that we are having. So the question is, what is actually happening? What is actually happening in our world, and what do we need to do to explore, to think through, to right the ship? Do you think the ship needs righting? Do you think that we're living in a utopia and right now is just the best of times and we should just keep going the way we're going down the road that we're going down? Or do we really need to check, see what the message is, see what the outcomes are, and maybe turn the ship in a different direction? Let's continue the conversation with these gentlemen.
And says, well, maybe men should be in charge of Barbie Land. The Barbies, who are super educated, are suddenly somehow spellbound by the suggestion of patriarchy into a position of relative subordinacy, but they enjoy it.
Well, that's the thing. So when they go back to the Barbie Land and the Kens take over,
in all of 5 minutes, by the way.
Yeah. So it goes to show how brittle and fragile the feminist utopia was. But what do the Kens do? Well, they start life bonding with the Barbies.
Yep.
And they start providing useful functions. They start doing jobs. They start, taking their Barbie to the beach and playing guitar for her, or watching a movie with her, or they start basically pair bonding.
They start falling in love.
Yeah, and they start providing, value to their community.
Yeah, and they stop competing with each other and stop hating each other all the time.
Yes,
because then Simu Liu and Ryan Gosling's Kens become best bros.
Yes,
and then they go to war only because the Barbies deliberately sow discord
cheat on them.
By cheating on them.
Yes.
And there's a line where it says, and right when they think they're most powerful, you take it all away. And it's like, right, so you use sex and lies to turn men against each other to erect a matriarchy.
Because especially the world the Kens created they were doing. They were basically providing the 1950s role, weren't they? I mean, they were doing all the work.
Yep.
And providing lifetime partnerships to the Barbies, and the Barbies were all perfectly content and happy with this until they literally grab a Barbie,
throw in the back
of a van, and subject her to a brainwashing session.
A feminist struggle consciousness raising session, where they give the Barbie the contradictions of the real world, for which the Barbie should have absolutely no frame of reference.
Yes.
Because if the patriarchy was really non-existent, the matriarchy was perfect in Barbie land, why would they have the contradictions of being a woman out in patriarchy?
Yes, and then use that.
And again, this makes for an interesting take, and this is why I thought the approach that they took was really interesting and eye-opening, in that this is the movie that is purporting to support and endorse feminism, and it's saying that, hey, the matriarchy is awesome, and so in the matriarchy, all the Barbies have awesome jobs and they're doing awesome things, and they're scientists, they're Nobel Prize winners, all of these things are happening. But the Kens are some discarded pieces that live out of nowhere. No one knows where they live. And they live for the validation of the Kens. That's what it looks like. They have no say, they have no vote, they have nothing. And here, when Ryan Gosling goes off to the real world, discovers patriarchy, and brings it back to Barbie land, then suddenly what happens is, they, rather than living separate lives, they find equality. They even go as far as to create a democracy where they're going to have a vote in a couple of days and say, hey, let us see how our laws should be governed equally by the Kens and the Barbies. They're going to share the vote, right? And so it's an interesting take on the patriarchy that comes to the world and actually causes the people, both the Kens, who are first at each other's throats and destroying each other, and the Barbies, who are so career focused they were just having girls' nights every day, to now come together and they're having a unified society where everyone is just enjoying each other's company, and their life in the world. And as the Kens find utility, they find jobs, and they find opportunities to try to make the Barbies happy in Barbie land, as they find value and validation. Interesting.
Psychological brainwashing to convince the Barbies to cheat on their Ken, to make the Kens hate each other, so that the whole thing collapses.
Yeah, so that while the election is happening, the Kens are meant to be changing the constitution. The Kens are too busy infighting, so the Barbies just go in and flood the ballot box.
They go and fortify the election. Yes.
Against the wishes of the newly appointed Supreme Court and all of that.
Yes.
Which is madness. Yeah. All right, John. Okay. So it's mental. Yeah. Just unbelievable stuff. So when that was also the other thing is, when Barbie goes to the real world, she realizes she's created an entire generation of women who hate her. And even though all the other Barbies exist where they've got all of these roles, she's still the most prominent one. And she's created a generation of insufferable teenagers who literally call her the embodiment of sexualized capitalism, rampant consumerism, and a fascist.
Yeah.
So feminism does not make women as happy as they think it does. And the whole reason that mother was screaming at Barbie towards the end, when Barbie was sitting there going, I'm no longer pretty, I'm useless, the Kens have taken over, she was complaining about all of the contradictions, how you're meant to stand out but not go against the sisterhood, how you're meant to work but you also be a mum. And it's like, right, but that's all problems of feminism. You don't lay at the feet of feminism, whereas all the Barbies, until you tell them about the problems feminism created, are happy in Ken world.
Yeah, so this is the thing. So the surface level analysis of this is the entire film is constructed to say that the interests of men are incompatible with the interests of women and vice versa.
Yes.
And therefore there can never be harmony between the two.
Yeah.
It has to be this conflicting struggle. So you start the movie with the Barbies on top completely suppressing the men, even though when it flips the other way, the men basically just become husbands and providers, and
both
the
sexes are happy.
Yeah, and both sexes are happy. Yeah, exactly. But the film.
This is the interesting. Again, it continues to just be interesting as you unpack this thing. As you find that if the movie's positing or positioning or saying that, hey, men are at odds with each other, which is where we are in the world. If one party is saying men need to subjugate women, and we're going, no, women need to be boss babes and need to do their own thing, and we're going, okay, those two things don't go together. So how do we work together as a society? How do we build a world where I mean, going back to the Bible, because that's where we start from, where it says it's not good for man to be alone. Let us work together. Let's create women so that they can be together, so they can have a unified approach, and so they will have success, right? But in the world of capitalism, I imagine that success, if we're both chasing the almighty dollar, then success is going to look different. Success is going to be measured by how well stacked your dollars are versus the other person. And so if we are stacking dollars to compete, i.e. in a relationship, then we're battling for control. We're battling for who's the boss. You remember that movie from the 80s, right? And if we're unable to figure out who's the boss because we're counting it through the dollar amount or the dollar number, then what do we tell our kids? What is the world that we're creating for them? Because that's going to translate to them too, to go, okay, our parents couldn't make it because they're fighting over the dollar. I guess relationships aren't real. I guess connection isn't real. So the only thing that you can rely on is the almighty dollar. And so it's a self-fulfilling, self-replicating prophecy where we get further and further away from each other as we continue on the current path. And I mean, it's interesting that the Barbie movie was able to unpack this, and as it comes to the end, we're going to keep continuing as we see what the message is that it delivers, whether intentionally or unintentionally, because these gentlemen are saying it might have happened unintentionally, but who knows what was in the mind of Greta Gerwig as she conceived the movie, as she shot the scenes, as she edited the scenes, and then made the final cut and went, yes, this is the thing I want to release to make billions of dollars in the world.
So the first time I watched it, my impression was, okay, I don't want to take my girls to see this because it is putting out this worldview that women and men cannot be happy at the same time.
Yes.
Unless men are in charge, in which case men and women can be happy at the same time. So
but
I'm not sure they would get that at sort of 9.
Especially not with all the swearing in it as well. There's a needless amount of gratuitous gay jokes and outright
swearing.
Rapping with over the end. The interesting thing as well,
it should be said, because you'd imagine that the Barbie movie would be targeted at kids, but there's a lot of sexual innuendo and there's a lot of jokes that may not be appropriate for children, and so there's a line of thought here, a line of thinking here that says, hey, this movie may not necessarily be targeted for children, even though it's marketing everything. It looks child focused. It seems, based on the content, to have a higher audience in mind, and then I imagine that is the challenge with the conservatives as to who this is programming, who this is attempting to connect with, and then what is the goal of the movie. But there's a lot more in it than seemingly on the surface. With this, we're going to take a quick break and come right back.
Welcome to The Wrecking Trade, this and every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m., the radio show that provides a platform for a deeper understanding of issues affecting men in the Cayman Islands. Join us as we explore the low enrollment of men and boys in college classrooms, the absence of men in the church, and the absence of fathers in the home. Join the conversation as we help men find their place in the modern world. Through engaging interviews with experts and members of the community, we provide a clear picture of what healthy masculinity looks like as an example for boys and girls. Our mission is to provide a voice for men, to help them navigate the challenges that they face and provide hope for a brighter future. So tune in this and every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. and join the conversation on The Wrecking Trade. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of men and boys in the Cayman Islands. Brought to you by Oscore Fitness, strong inside, powerful outside, and the Bellagio Salon and Spa, where beauty is reimagined.
Desires. Let our therapists work their magic, leaving you feeling renewed. Don't wait any longer to treat yourself. Call us today at 943-5522 or 923-2255. Book your appointment and embark on a journey to ultimate relaxation. Bellagio Salon and Spa. Unwind, rejuvenate, and embrace your inner beauty. Book your escape now. Introducing Oscore Fitness Personalized Training System, the ultimate solution to achieving your fitness goals. With Oscore Fitness, you have the flexibility to work out in your own home gym, or if you prefer, you can visit one of our partner facilities for a change of scenery. or team of expert trainers will guide you through personalized workouts tailored to your specific needs and preferences, ensuring maximum results. If you can't make it to the gym, Oscore Fitness offers the convenience of having a fully equipped gym delivered right to your doorstep. Our dedicated trainers will motivate and challenge you every step of the way, keeping you on track towards your fitness goals. Ready to transform your fitness routine? Call us now at 525-8622 and get started with Oscore Fitness personalized training system. Oscore Fitness. Break free from limitations and achieve your fitness dreams. Oscore Fitness. Your journey to a healthier, stronger you begins today. Welcome to OWC HR and Immigration Services, your trusted partner in the Cayman Islands. Navigating the immigration process can be overwhelming. We take time to understand your unique needs and provide personalized, budget-friendly solutions to tackle your HR and immigration challenges. We guide you through ensuring compliance at every step. Experience the peace of mind that comes with OWC HR and Immigration Services. Contact us today for a free consultation. OWC HR and Immigration Services, your solution, your success. Welcome to the Bellagio Salon and Spa, your one-stop destination for all your hair, nails, skin, and body needs. Located at 112 Cannon Place in Georgetown, Bellagio Salon and Spa is the epitome of luxury and relaxation. Come let us take care of your every need. Our team of skilled professionals is ready to give you a fresh and fabulous hairstyle, a revitalizing facial, or a pampering manicure. Experience the bliss of our signature spa treatments designed to cater to your specific desires. Let our therapists work their magic, leaving you feeling renewed. Don't wait any longer to treat yourself. Call us today at 943-5522 or 923-2255. Book your appointment and embark on a journey to ultimate relaxation. Bellagio Salon and Spa. Unwind, rejuvenate, and embrace your inner beauty. Book your escape now.
That's 923-25.
Women and men cannot be happy at the same time,
Yes.
unless men are in charge, in which case men and women can be happy at the same time. So,
Or
but I'm not sure they would get that at sort of
no,
9.
especially
Yeah.
not with all the swearing in it as well. There's a needless amount of
Yeah.
gratuitous
Yeah, there is that.
gay jokes and
Yes.
and
Just outright
Nage
swearing.
rapping with over the end. The interesting thing as well is that even the narrator recognizes the Kens need a civil rights movement when the matriarchy is reinstantiated, because when the Kens petition for a position on the Supreme Court, the female president goes, maybe a lower appellate court, we'll see. And the narrator chimes in and says, as you can see, there's still a long way to go until the Kens get the same amount of power that women have in the real world. Now,
Yes.
I don't think they understand how that line sounds.
But there are women on the Supreme Court.
But that's exactly the point.
Like, this country's had like 3 women prime ministers at
There's
this point.
currently 3 on the Supreme Court in the States. And so,
Yeah.
so this is why that line doesn't come off as I think they mean it sounds, because it sounds like it's acknowledging that the Kens don't have anywhere near the level of influence that women do in our world,
Yes.
in their world, so we need a Ken civil rights movement.
Yes.
That's how the film ends.
Well, Kens in their world don't even have homes.
No.
They're all homeless.
No. And until the Kens take over, they
Yes.
take over the houses, and then in the real world, the reflection is the Ken houses sell better to boys and girls. So they're also more profitable, more beloved, and Barbie world is happier.
Yes.
What were they thinking? They thought this was bad.
Yeah, this is
It's baffling.
this is going to be like one of those films like Starship Troopers.
Yeah, exactly. Go and see Carl's old video on Starship Troopers if you don't understand.
Because I watched Starship Troopers at the time and thought, oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was only like 10 years later I read an article that explained that it was actually meant to be the opposite of what I thought it was.
Well, Robert Heinlein wrote the book as the kind of libertarian sci-fi utopia. Then
Right.
Paul Verhoeven didn't
Yeah.
read the book, but wanted to make the film as a parody of fascism. So he dressed up
Right.
all of the libertarian utopia in the fascist uniforms.
Right.
So he gave it the paraphernalia, but none of the moral content. And then
Okay.
he was like, well, obviously the humans are evil, but no, the bugs attacked first. They committed genocide.
Yes.
And the humans are just defending themselves.
Yeah, I've heard the book is different, but the film was just like,
But that
okay,
was the film.
This is based plus cool uniforms.
Yeah, but like the film is the humans are under existential threat from the bugs
Yes.
who launched an unprovoked attack and killed Rico's entire family. And so he signs up. It's like and they're bad?
Yeah.
Like, the same with Barbie. It's like the Kens are a lobotomized surf class that only exist as emotional validation cattle for the vapid Barbies who will never allow them to stay the night. And they also have no frame of reference for sex, yet make all these sex jokes. Bad writing. And then the moment the Kens ascend and show some competency, other than the one joke you put in there about building a wall vertically because he wanted to take a shot at Trump, the women are happier. Even the president is happier serving beers to her boyfriend on a beach. Things are working better. In the real world, it's more profitable. And the only person that comes in and destroys it are, one, weird Barbie, who got played with too hard, who wrote the film, by the way, and is a lesbian that gives Barbie the Birkenstocks, and actual Barbie, who's a vapid narcissist, who falls over and cries because her boyfriend dumps her because she didn't recognize him, and then said the entire world must change around me, and still isn't happy when Barbie society gets fixed the way she wants it. So then she abandons it, stops being Barbie, and goes and bees a mum.
Yes, that's the thing, isn't it? So you got this feminist utopia, and Ken sees the real world and starts to recognize that actually men have value.
Yes.
So he goes back and he basically reconstructs society overnight.
Yeah.
Everybody's happier.
Yes.
He actually does something, and then all the Kens, they start doing stuff, right? But then Barbie comes back, like you say, and she just collapses on the floor and basically bangs her fists up and down and says, "Somebody fix this for me."
And then the other thing is, well, the Kens, despite calling it patriarchy, aren't dominating the women.
No.
They're just helping them. Like, they pathologize it, saying, a woman comes and sits down next to a guy and says, "I've never seen The Godfather, can you explain it?" He's so eager to share an experience with her. Or your analog character in the 10-gallon hat giving her investment advice, you know. It's like the Kens
but the point is that they are very obviously happy. The Barbies are glowing at this point. They're perfectly content.
And they gave them the right to vote. It's not like they came in and took the government by force. They just convinced them to do this, and then they said, in 2 weeks' time, we'll vote. Vote. Not a fascist takeover. They gave them the option, and they had to.
Yes.
They had to stop the Kens from going to the polls to re-erect them.
So they actually achieved a democracy.
Yes.
An equal democracy, and then
with gender complementarity.
Yes, and then the feminists arrived and immediately instituted a fascist takeover.
Yes. And then didn't allow the Kens
by fortifying the election.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the ending.
In fact, they used sluttery to distract the Kens long enough to go and fortify the election.
And their beta male orbiter as well, because remember Alan? There's only one of him, and he's the enabler. Yeah. And then at the end, he's crying because he sees Ken crying because actually he just wanted to sleep with Ken the whole time.
I must have phased out by that point.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But then the ending for Ken, and this is the subversive part of the film, is that men and women have to exist apart. Either men are subordinate to women and really emotional, or Ken can go off and find himself without Barbie. Now, that is obviously meant to be, well, men need feminism, and men need to come back and realize that patriarchy is wrong, and then they might be worthy of acceptance. Right. And sometimes a woman might not just choose it.
And this here, I guess, is where everything kind of comes together in the idea that the movie may be presenting that the only way for men and women to coexist is if they are subservient to women. And I guess this is the challenge that many conservatives are having, because in the movie it starts out, and this is the place that Barbie wanted to take it back to, where the sole existence of men was to just validate the women. They didn't have any homes, they didn't do anything, they just stood there and fought with each other over the mere attention of the Barbies, who were going off doing their own things, getting their Nobel Peace Prize, doing all of these things, right? And as the Kens, as the movie progressed, and the Kens are seeking for an ability, seeking for opportunities to be useful, this guy finding so much joy in just being able to tell a woman the time that it just gave him great validation to be able to be useful, to be able to go out, do jobs, provide. It puts an interesting take on the idea of patriarchy, which is in keeping with my own views in terms of the thing that we call patriarchy is men seeking opportunities to take care of women. Many times I'm sitting down and I'm listening to the conversation of women talking about how women are oppressed, and they've been oppressed since the beginning of time, and I wonder at the thought of how does the patriarchy that's designed to oppress women invent chivalry, which is solely designed to elevate women. You watch some of those old movies or those old westerns, and you're seeing a woman getting down out of the car, and a bunch of men are just there trying to help her down, taking your coat off and putting it down so she doesn't have to walk across mud, to be able to protect her, whatever is going on. The idea, chivalry, men fighting over just the right to take her handkerchief, to do these things. And we're saying the patriarchy, the men are oppressing the women, and these images that are being transferred, this idea that we've all agreed on, because many women are saying the patriarchy is dead. Why are men not opening doors for women? Why are men not doing any of these things anymore? And the question is, how did the patriarchy that's oppressing women invent those things? What happened there that brought about this dissonance, which brings again about the idea that I'm saying, which is this thing that we keep causing patriarchy seems to be a distraction. It seems we're trying to create a world where men and women are not coexisting, where we which would only result in us not being able to accomplish what we've been able to accomplish historically. Since the 1970s into the 80s, we were able to go to the moon, and now we can't seem to get back there. What has changed since that time that stops us from accomplishing these great feats when we had less resources, less technology, less, I guess, brain power, because we have all of these things happening right now. I have in my cell phone more power than the persons had when they sent a man to the moon, yet we are unable to do that. We're accomplishing more person-centered or self-centered activities, self-centered things, than we are accomplishing community-focused things in 2023. And here, this movie seems to unpack all of that in this tiny frame. And it's done a really great job of creating a conversation, or a conversational piece at least, where you have one side saying one thing, another side saying another thing. And if we can bring those pieces together, I think it would be a great place for us to start talking through some of the things that are happening in the world today, some of the things that we'd like to see happening in the world today, and how we can all, or how these things can serve the greatest good. 60% divorce is not serving the greatest good. 60% of homes run by 68% of homes run by single mothers, not serving the greatest good. Even right here in the Cayman Islands, when you think about the disparity in terms of the prison numbers in Northwood versus the prison numbers there, it just seems to be something happening that is not lending to society, community, family growing and strengthening as a whole. And let's just watch the last 5 minutes and then we can do final thoughts.
Okay. No. Ken had a lucky break, my friend, because that was the worst Barbie out of the lot. She's gone off to the real world.
Yeah.
He understands how the government and how society should work, so he deserves a better girl. Ken is our guy. And he had the best musical number in the whole thing. Easily. Like, I don't know if you've seen the edit yet, but there is currently an edit of Patrick Bateman walking into the office with, Walking on Sunshine playing his, but instead it's the I Am Ken and I'm Enough song. It's gold. Like, they don't know what film they made. Not even the slightest.
Yeah, because it is, they have unintentionally created an advert for patriarchy.
Yes, they've created, and so I saw someone make this as a meme, but I wanted to explain this concept. Are you familiar with what the Longhouse is?
I think I am, actually.
So for those who aren't, it's an analogy that comes from a gay Romanian Anon author called Bronze Age Pervert. And his analogy imbibes some like proto-feminist anthropology. The Longhouse didn't really exist, but he's taken a feminist idea that there were Nordic longhouses where men and women were sat on the floor and dictated to like infants from the den mother. And he said, this is all of civilization where your behavior is controlled, there's no room for violence, and you have to constantly comply, otherwise you don't get fed. And
so for those listening, we're displaying a picture of literally a long Nordic house. So it's sort of large, sort of great hall, but it's very long, obviously, therefore the name Longhouse. My understanding is that basically everybody lived in it. It was not divided into rooms.
No.
So it was all open. So it was subject to constant oversight, surveillance and monitoring, which led to a society which became organised along basically feminine values.
Yeah, the smothering mother.
Smothering mother, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it was essentially an attempt to snuff out all male vital energy.
Yes. How is that not Barbie Land?
Yes, that is.
And so Barbie unintentionally gave us the tragedy of coming so close to the fall of the Longhouse with gender parity for complementarity and well-being, while also being somewhat still free, and sex and lies ruined it.
So this is the sort of the tragedy of the Barbie itself, because of course only one Barbie has actually ever seen anything outside of it.
Yeah.
So she just accepts the world that she's in at the beginning. Then she sees the real world, Then she goes back and discovers that actually now all the Barbies and Kens are pair bonding, and there's now gender equality.
Yeah.
She hates it because she's sort of programmed to hate it, and that weird psycho in the hills, the weird Barbie. Yeah. She says, okay, well, we need to brainwash people until we get back to our sort of fascist state before.
Yeah.
And as soon as Barbie achieves it, she realizes, oh, what have I done? Get me out of here, and goes to live in a world run by men again.
Yes. Yeah. Well, at one point they literally say, you're either weird or you're ugly. There's no in between. And it's like, right, so you're either a miserable matriarchal lesbian that oppresses men.
Yes.
Or you're brainwashed or you're ugly. That was it. So, or you're brainwashed by the patriarchy and what? Happy with a husband?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I know which one I prefer.
So, I totally get what you're saying. I don't think anyone should take their young daughters to see this.
No.
Because the bits we're discussing, like, because you got the bit right at the end, which basically shows, what I just said, which is she wants to get out of this.
Yes.
And you get the unintentional deconstruction of feminism, and it's an advert for patriarchy.
Yeah.
But the main part of the movie, the biggest part of the movie, and the most simplistic messaging, the bit that children would pick up on, is that women and men cannot live together unless one of them is in charge and dominating the other one.
Yes.
So, for God's sakes, don't take children to see this.
No. This is the weird thing. Who is it marketed for? Because it's obviously marketed at weird Arrested Development adults and feminists, but the whole marketing campaign was very kid friendly.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, it's not a kids' movie, is it?
No, it's not even just remotely. I mean, they say mother.
What rating is it?
They say mother effer in it, don't they? It's 12A, so you can take kids to it, but it's obviously not made for kids. Yes. It's made for Greta Gerwig and the weird lesbian woman Kate McKinnon who plays weird Barbie.
Well, as you're pointing out, it's actually made for Republicans because they're the ones going to see it and they're finding it hilarious. Yes,
it's literally like Ryan Gosling's our guy. It is the tragic fall of a hero who almost ended the reign of Longhouse. And so,
yes, it is a tragedy, isn't it?
I'll wrap this segment up by basically saying it's akin to American Psycho or Starship Troopers. Don't let the left have this. Gloat, because it's our film. Enjoy. Thank you for watching.
And there you have it. And an interesting take in the divide of the world that is called the conversation landscape, where the conservatives seem to be up in their heads are on fire because, hey, Barbie is just going crazy with what she's doing, or the woke leftists that go, hey, Barbie is the second coming of sliced bread and there's nothing better, and so it's just making money hand over fist in the box office right now. And the movie just goes through and unpacks the idea that we are struggling right now. We're struggling as human beings, trying to find our place in the world. We're trying to find a peaceful, safe, enjoyable way for men and women to coexist, to live together, to strengthen and support each other so that we can have the best society suited for what we have been designed to do. And when you and I guess that's the question: what were we designed to do? Did we just suddenly appear here on a big explosion, and the purpose of life is simply to have as much joy as you can, just enjoy what you enjoy? Or is the purpose of life to immortalize ourselves through procreation, to build the next generation, to build a society so we can keep trying to get this thing right, where we can keep trying to get back to an idea where we are unified, where we are together, where we are connected, where we can value each other. In the Bible, it tells you the story of the fall during creation, and we get this idea that man and women, they're working nicely together, they're working perfectly together. The devil comes in, and right away, right there, you have discord. And the next scene, we see God having a conversation, and everyone's pointing and blaming each other and saying, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's the man's fault, it's the woman's fault, it's the snake's fault. And so we have discord and disconnection. And I imagine the goal since that time has been restoration. How do we get back to a place where we can be at peace, at one, together again? And here, the Barbie movie unintentionally, whether intentionally or unintentionally, explains it and says, hey, the thing that brings us back together is the patriarchy. When the Barbies found joy with the Kens found utility, they found connection, and everyone was happy. As opposed to the start of the movie where we had the joy of feminism and the wonderful situation where, guess what? All the women, all the Barbies are super enjoying their jobs and their girl, and the Kens are fighting, they're miserable, they're at odds with each other. And ends with a message that this movie is not for little boys or little girls or little children, because the content may be a little bit above their heads, and so if you do decide to go see this movie, it's not for them. You want to take the content, look at it, and start a conversation in your offices, in your workplace, wherever you are, so that you can explore the idea of what do we need to start doing to reconnecting, to build a world where we can stand shoulder to shoulder, walk down the roads, walk through the aisles, and lift each other up as each generation, I used to hear this when I was a little younger, each generation gets to stand on the shoulder of the generation before them so they can see further and accomplish more. And we accomplish that by being able to get the first generation to come together. But if we are disconnected as a generation, there's no ability for the generation after us to stand on our shoulders, because they don't have that base, that support, that connectivity, that place of safety where they can stand and do more, see more, accomplish more, so that we can have greater joy for all of us, not just for the best of us or the few of us or those who are lucky enough, but for every single one of us. And with that, we're going to take a quick wrap. We're going to take a quick break.
Welcome to The Wrecking Trade, this and every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m., the radio show that provides a platform for a deeper understanding of issues affecting men in the Cayman Islands. Join us as we explore the low enrollment of men and boys in college classrooms, the absence of men in the church, and the absence of fathers in the home. Join the conversation as we help men find their place in the modern world. Through engaging interviews with experts and members of the community, we provide a clear picture of what healthy masculinity looks like as an example for boys and girls. Our mission is to provide a voice for men, to help them navigate the challenges that they face and provide hope for a brighter future. So tune in this and every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. and join the conversation on The Wrecking Trade. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of men and boys in the Cayman Islands. Brought to you by Oscore Fitness, strong inside, powerful outside, and the Bellagio Salon and Spa, where beauty is reimagined.
So, final thoughts. Thank you for helping us to make this channel grow in the speed and pace that it has. Getting to 2,600 subscribers has been an awesome feat in the time that it has been done. And so again, thank you for helping me to support that. Remember to like this video on your way up. The liking the video seems to be the new metric that really helps the algorithm to say, hey, people are appreciating this content. It can share it with others, because AI is taking over the world, and AI is the one that's making the decisions now, not just human beings. But you as a human being can make your contribution by just hitting that like button. It's free, it's easy, just hit that like button, and it helps other persons like you to find this content. Feel free to check out my books, Communication Straight Talk for Relationships, available on Amazon, where you can find more of this content, strengthen your own communication skills, enhance your ability to have these conversations through recognizing some of the pitfalls or challenges that may be in the people across from you, or that you may have on yourself, and able to work through, and you're able then to work through those as we increase our ability to have conversations by not falling in the traps, not falling in the pitfalls that usually derail us and cause us not to be able to pursue those conversations, because we may get triggered and get stuck in our emotions. So check that out on Amazon. That is Straight Talk for Relationships, communicating to understand and feel understood. You can also check out my blog, which is robertnflynch.com, where we take these concepts, take these ideas, take these conversations, and explore them in bite-sized pieces. I know sometimes trying to take on a big meal, can be a little bit overwhelming. Sometimes you're only available, or you only have time for a little snack. You can get those little snacks right on robertnflynch.com, where you can look at communication, look at relationships, look at finances, explore these other things, and I bring in ideas from different authors or different creators because the wealth of information, there's a wealth of information out there. This is just an opportunity for me to distill that and for you to find all that great content right in one easy place where you can just go grab a snack and go and come back next time and have another snack. It's a really great opportunity. So thank you. So check out the blog, and of course be sure to share the channel with someone that you know who you think might find the content interesting. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening on Bobo FM. This has been The Wrecking Trade. I'm Robert Lynch. Until next time.
Welcome to The Wrecking Trade, this and every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m., the radio show that provides a platform for a deeper understanding of issues affecting men in the Cayman Islands. Join us as we explore the low enrollment of men and boys in college classrooms, the absence of men in the church, and the absence of fathers in the home. Join the conversation as we help men find their place in the modern world. Through engaging interviews with experts and members of the community, we provide a clear picture of what healthy masculinity looks like as an example for boys and girls. Our mission is to provide a voice for men, to help them navigate the challenges that they face and provide hope for a brighter future. So tune in this and every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. and join the conversation on The Wrecking Trade. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of men and boys in the Cayman Islands. Brought to you by Oscore Fitness, strong inside, powerful outside, and the Bellagio Salon and Spa, where beauty is reimagined.
Welcome to the Bellagio Salon and Spa, your one-stop destination for all your hair, nails, skin, and body needs. Located at 112 Cannon Place in Georgetown, Bellagio Salon and Spa is the epitome of luxury and relaxation. Come let us take care of your every need. Our team of skilled professionals is ready to give you a fresh and fabulous hairstyle, a revitalizing facial, or a pampering manicure. Experience the bliss of our signature spa treatments designed to cater to your specific desires. Let our therapists work their magic, leaving you feeling renewed. Don't wait any longer to treat yourself. Call us today at 943-5522 or 923-2255. Book your appointment and embark on a journey to ultimate relaxation. Bellagio Salon and Spa. Unwind, rejuvenate, and embrace your inner beauty. Book your escape now. Introducing Oscore Fitness Personalized Training System, the ultimate solution to achieving your fitness goals. With Oscore Fitness, you have the flexibility to work out in your own home gym, or if you prefer, you can visit one of our partner facilities for a change of scenery. Our team of expert trainers will guide you through personalized workouts tailored to your specific needs and preferences, ensuring maximum results. If you can't make it to the gym, Oscore Fitness offers the convenience of having a fully equipped gym delivered right to your doorstep. Our dedicated trainers will motivate and challenge you every step of the way, keeping you on track towards your fitness goals. Ready to transform your fitness routine? Call us now at 525-8622 and get started with Oscore Fitness Personalized Training System. Oscore Fitness. Break free from limitations and achieve your fitness dreams. Oscore Fitness. Your journey to a healthier, stronger you begins today. Welcome to OWC HR and Immigration Services, your trusted partner in the Cayman Islands. Navigating the immigration process can be overwhelming. We take time to understand your unique needs and provide personalized, budget-friendly solutions to tackle your HR and immigration challenges. We guide you through ensuring compliance at every step. Experience the peace of mind that comes with OWC HR and Immigration Services. Contact us today for a free consultation. OWC HR and Immigration Services, your solution